Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. I'm going to do another reading. I think I'm going to talk a little before the video. It's not unusual for me, so maybe you might want to skip like 5 or 10 minutes ahead because I tend to go all over the place with my storytelling. Um, 2 days ago, the power went out. It went out a couple times and went back on. Uh, it's it's still really hot and a lot of storms recently. So one might say, well, maybe you could just go to bed since the lights went off, and along with the lights, the AC went off. And I did the opposite. I was like, I want to stay up to make sure that they stay on. And I felt like I was a little more awake since it was apparent that that had happened. So, um, that was around 11 o'clock at night that it started doing that. And I try to do video at least every other day. So I wanted to pop in. I am staying here until Saturday, maybe. I'm thinking, because tomorrow's my last day for work. And um, someone did call for me at work asking about how I am as a worker. So I'm assuming it has to do with my visa. And I like the past 2 weeks, my stomach has been getting better. It is better. Um, it wasn't, I wasn't like stomaching things as well, even with my probiotics. And I do take different supplements, and it's been decent. The probiotics help tremendously, but I wanted to try there's this drink that I used to get. It was like the Dunkin' Donuts frozen coffee with, I get it with oat milk. Um, and I like to try different places for different types of drinks. I usually don't get coffee, but I figured maybe I could try it, and it just wasn't sitting well with me. And it wasn't because the past weekend I found chips in my car because I was waiting for my godmother. It was me. The last minute, my aunt was like, "Did your godmother pack you something to bring back to the hotel since I traveled to see her on the weekends?" And I'm like, I mean, I could get that." And she was preparing stuff, so I went to my car and I was trying to throw stuff out, and I found chips, like a couple of bags of chips, and I was like, "Oh, sick." And they were like 4 months past expiration, but like I looked at them and I tasted them and they seemed fine, and I was fine afterwards. I'm not saying that they made me better, but it was like after I had had like the drives with the that coffee drink that wasn't sitting well with me. So now my stomach is fine. I feel like I guess that's the little bit of a life update. It's my last day tomorrow, but I still wanted to post something here. And I have to get my car looked at for the cleaning and detailing, I was told that there wasn't much to do with my car, and my car would sell well because of what the car is, and I don't have a lot of miles on it. It's not too, it's a 2018, so it is a car that could last up to like 300,000 miles. So I'm not even at 100,000. So one thing that I feel like is important is that, especially if you're going into different avenues of life, it's okay to like say no to things, and it's, of course, it's okay to accept things. It doesn't have to be with people. I'm not getting it as much with people, but it can go in that direction. Like if you're looking for a job, it's good to know the things that you're not willing to do at a workplace. Because you don't want to get to the workplace and then there's X amount of things that you clearly don't want to do. But you applied and you got accepted, so now you're there. Of course, like you also have to read the situation too, because sometimes there's also the aspect of being realistic about it and also having those dreams become reality, and it could go hand in hand. If you don't have a job experience and maybe you get like an entry job, it's the foot through the door, so it's not exactly like the job that maybe you'll end up with, but it's the job that will show you the ropes and will be a job that can help build up your resume maybe and get you up the ladder, whatever ladder you're trying to go for. And I am not, um, like, I'll just say it. I feel like I would be absolutely useless in some job settings. Like, I wouldn't want to do a lot of heavy lifting. Um, I like cool environments. There's definitely things that I just will not want to do at a job. And I know that about myself. So, unless it's absolutely like dire or necessary in a life circumstance, if it's my choice, like I'm not doing it. And if you tell me to do it um, in that type of work setting, I will most likely really dislike it by the end of the shift. But it's also, it would be on me if it was already a given that that would be what it would be. Sometimes it's not, oh, sometimes it's not the case, but again, reading the situations, those moments are important. I got like really loving energy. I feel like the past couple days too. I also got, I guess, a vision dream of my nesting dolls because I do, or is it nesting dolls because they're nesting doll because there's one, but then there's more inside. whatever it is, the dream was like that they were all out. And for the one that I have, it hasn't been open since I got it from the store. And then I think, well, since the last video, there was this one vision of like someone, it kind of looked like maybe a secluded island area. It kind of reminded me of the sun card because the sun was just really bright and beaming and just like being happy, like having a smile and being content. So I was just getting a lot of like loving, I would say folk visions. I I feel like I say that because the type of imagery that would come to me isn't stuff that I would see, I guess, like on a day-to-day basis in the US. So let's get the card that I have now. But for the, sorry, for the nesting dolls, it can represent the depths. So layers, and I feel like it'll be part of the reading too. The cards that I turned over so far are from the Archangel Oracle, and it's remember who you are, Archangel Michael. You are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. And the torches are thinning out to me. I feel like it has to do with being able to lead. Because there's another one, Clairsentience, Archangel Raguel. Notice your reoccurring physical and emotional feelings as they signify divine guidance. Sorry, and as usual, I read and I do have other things that I think about too. Like it's like random things. Um, I since I'm leaving soon from this area, I bought so much food and I don't think I needed to. I I can bring it to my godfather's since I'm gonna be staying there for a little bit. But I also have Breathe, Archangel Raphael. Take several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken your energy and release old patterns. This could also be like giving the torch, because it might be, in a way, like your turn. And prioritize, Archangel Metatron. Focus on your highest priorities that will help you get organized and motivated. And I did feel energies while the power went out, not in the room. It was actually when I was kind of like scoping. I did, there was no one outside my door, but I did feel energies outside my door. And it kind of was not, I guess, uncommon because I don't keep beings in my space. I try to keep it as me as possible, if that makes sense. Like I want to know that this is my space. And of course, as I bring that up, when I say MySpace, it's the old social media where you could customize and put a bunch of codes in to make your profile fucking dope, and it was just so fun. And that's like the thing, because I guess with my personality, there was like a transition from, at least here, like MySpace, a social media, into like Facebook. And honestly, I was like, what is this Facebook? It doesn't have the fun in it. I had it for a little bit, but I just didn't, it didn't stick with me. There's just such a strong transition energy because you get the hanged man here. And it reminds me of like a tulip where things are, or like a flower, things are starting to blossom. I know the Japanese gifted the cherry blossoms to this area of the US. So, sorry. And I know I talk about having MySpace, but I know that there has been like beings like really eager about me reading for this message. Sometimes I like see them like they're like trying to look at the cards in my hair. It's not cherry blossom season, but it is a thing here, like it is in Japan, because there's a bunch of different products, like with food, with merchandise, I guess if you would call it that, things with cherry blossoms. And with this, it does feel like the hard work pays off because it's the Knight of Pentacles. And it also feels like kind of energy of what I know it to be, of me finishing it off for the most part at work. Since my storage unit is here, I might pop in. And I don't know if I'm going to get my car detailed or cleaned this weekend, so it might be another weekend. But it's just to see what the price would be based off of what the car is. And my car isn't bad, but I want top dollar. I know they're already going to try to lowball me, but I'm going to go for the price that I have seen on the Kelly Blue Book. So I feel like the job that I had was one of the major jobs. It wasn't my first pharmacy job, but um, I learned a lot there. And it was a job that gave me, or the owner gave me a chance. Because if you hire me, like I'll give it my all. And I did, even towards the end. I didn't have to stay. I was asked to stay. And then the owner was asking about like where I was staying and everything. And she was like, I don't know if she felt bad, but she's like, well, if you would like to go sooner, you can go. I'll just go off of your schedule. And I was like thinking, clearly you don't have somebody right now, and it would be it wouldn't be good if I left as soon as she was saying at the time. So I'm gonna stay because I said I was going to stay, and it it's what I said. And I wanted to make it and go off on a good note, on the best note that I could or that I can. Because with the Knight of Pentacles, there's that sense of stability. With the Hanged Man, it is a yearning for more. And that's why it leaves that stillness. And there's a lot of growth at the bottom there, too. It's a Hermit. A lot of, like, kind of quiet cards that come out. This is also a time, like, where people start to go back to maybe school or their jobs if they were on vacation. Um, at least for the place that I work at, this is a time where people usually get trained because it's not busy since people are on vacation. I'm also working a full day tomorrow because usually it's a short day for me, at least one day a week, so I can run some errands, especially with places that close at 5 during the week. And it's the main time where I get to finish those things off. So, um, the Hermit is also linked to Virgo, and so is the Knight of Pentacles, which is, it's Leo season right now, but soon enough it's going to be Virgo season. Since it's combined with some Earth cards, I am going to say that with the heavy lifting that's in the Ten of Wands, and it being an elderly person, I do feel like there was a sense of knowledge and experience. Experience could be physical experience too. And with a sense of excitement with the Page of Wands. And when the lights, like, I don't know, it was just something that came to mind when it happened too. Because I started working on, um, I feel like it's going to be like the Slavic Legends bag. And it's red and black. It kind of reminds me of like Baba Yaga because of well, not only the color palette, but of one of the books that's out. And that's when the lights started to flicker, and I'm like, oh, all right. It's still really, my forehead just keeps feeling like it's getting tickled, but um, that encounter that night with her was just something that I've never experienced before, and I have said that. I did make a video of it, like not too long after it happened, but I never unlisted it. I was told that it's not the right time. So now it is the right time because I'm doing these things. Another page of wands. And that one's coming out in the obstacle position. So I'll put these up together. And um, the last light that was in the bathroom went off after that, the blackout. And I say it here and there, but I prefer people not really coming in here. Sometimes, like maybe once a week, to pick up stuff like the trash and to do other things. I came back from work today and I noticed that the lights were changed. Um, so I feel like last minute things because it happens towards the end when I'm going to leave the area. It kind of feels like with the Tower card, how to overcome the obstacle. It really focuses the energy and destroys things that aren't necessarily important, which can be linked to the Ten of Wands because there's just so much there. It it's just it feels like a complete like start over. And life starts over in multiple ways. Where we finally are able to say that we have the experience, or we have the knowledge, maybe we have the money, um, the means to get from that point A to maybe point Z that we were trying to get to all these years. Sometimes there's, more things ahead because the future, there's the Seven of Cups, which is a card of patience because it goes with the Five of Cups. It's to clarify it because it seems like trying to dismiss those emotions, it's good to make sure that those emotions are validated, but also to make sure to not forget to live your life. Like if you're waiting for something, you don't need to, or if you're waiting for like a package, this could be a minuscule thing to something that could be something so like a big moment for you, big lifetime, big life change. But if you order something and it says it's being shipped and it's in the process of like getting to you, you're not going to spend your days, well, at least majority of the time, just like looking at the window to see where your package is. Like you can maybe look at the tracking information here and there, but you'll do other things. And it's not something where you need to occupy your time and your energy and your space to just that one thing. This is not really talking about relationships, and but if you're that's how you're feeling about it, you could direct it to whatever it is. But it really focuses like to not hold on to those things that are so intense, so drastic, such a strong emotion at the time. Like if you're going through maybe your high school years or something, and like if you keep a diary and then you notice that you have all these intense emotions, and then going forward into the next couple of entries, it's like not even maybe a couple of weeks, a couple of days, whatever it is, the thoughts and the moods completely change because we're so invested. We have such intense emotions at the time. When we look back and we think, I didn't need to focus so much on that. And you could maybe say, like, treat it like a vampire and don't let it in. Don't let those energies or maybe things in your space, in your mind, like your bubble, um, and to keep your thoughts maybe pure and tender and lighthearted if you can. Like, heart and mind go hand in hand in a lot of ways. It feels like it's a reminder that you can still enjoy your life and look forward to the future, but don't let the things daunt you. And I'm not saying like to go buck wild, because the Page of Wands is kind of like in the obstacle position. So the tower focuses and it harnesses and it has like that lightning bolt where this is her rune, and if I said that correctly, where it's harnessing those energies and you're directing it to something. And then sometimes you're directing it to destroy something that's not necessary to have in your life so that it can rebuild again. To have those clean slates, sometimes they're not completely clean slates. Like if you're going from one job and you're transitioning into another job for whatever reason, could be you're moving to another location, um, could be because you found another opportunity that is something that benefits you more. Maybe it gives you more benefits. Maybe it's better for your lifestyle in that way, the benefits. Maybe you're getting paid more. Maybe it's a work environment that you feel more comfortable in, or you're feeling like it'll be more comfortable for you. Um, that is somewhat of your foundation, even though you are starting over. So you also have the King of Wands. So you have the Page of Wands and it jumps to the King of Wands. There was also the Knight of Pentacles too. I feel like a lot of energy will be exuded in this. And to a point where you have to focus your energy because you won't have energy to do some other things. So it's that type of prioritizing that you get in the Oracle cards. And being that torchbearer. And there's that gentleness with, again, the breathe card, several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken your energy and release old patterns. And it says to release old patterns, so Archangel Raphael. This could be like a different setting too. Um, Honestly, it really surprises me sometimes when somebody can match my dark humor. Because sometimes it's just like, it's honestly like fucking demented sometimes. There feels like that type of gravitation. Something that just really matches you and it feels soulful. And again, with keeping things out of your space, it could also be gossip too. Because I was asking about this Four of Swords. I'm sorry, I said Four of Swords. I combined the Four of Cups and the Two of Swords. This is the Two of Cups, but since I said Four of Swords, it could also apply. It's not here though. Four of Swords is one where there is an interpretation of that, which I feel like it makes sense for what I was trying to portray with my words. Um, Again, I guess it can be interpreted in different ways, but in the Osho Zen Tarot, there's the Four of Swords where it's what's the Four of Swords? It's like all these energies that are surrounding this being, but then it's having a meditative state and not letting it phase you like there's like a meditative expression. If I got that correctly. And I was asking who's the Two of Cups, and I got the Four of Cups. With the Six of Wands. For some reason, I'm getting like you'd be surprised about how this group of people enjoy talking about you. Because that's what I'm getting with like the Six of Wands. Because the Six of Wands, you have Well, someone playing an instrument here, and then traditionally it's more of a group setting where is it the cavalry or a group of people on horses going into town as if they voyaged somewhere, they conquered, they did the mission and they completed it, and now they're being, I guess, applauded for the acts of service in that way. I think it has to do with the Knight of Pentacles too. There's a sense of consistency that goes with it, like with this chatter. And it has the Hierophant here. And with the owl reading a book to the maybe a child, it kind of looks like um, either reading a book that I feel like it's a book that's being enjoyed. And throughout the world, there are parables or stories that hold meaning to them, different religious texts. And a lot of them, they have different routes of how to get to this ending. But a lot of times, the ending to these stories, they have a lot of the messages that there seems to be a pattern with what they're trying to teach you for a lot of things. I'm not saying for everything. And for some reason, with the Hierophant card and the teaching and the chatter and the conversation, because of what's being discussed with the Hierophant card, it almost feels like maybe like a church thing too, where maybe the priest, if you're religious, or maybe another type of religion, like they give a sermon and then there's like the story and then it has the lesson for it. So with different books too, it's funny because you would take different language classes, and for America, the main one is Spanish class. So I took what Spanish for all of grade school for like the 8 years, and even um, in kindergarten too, before first grade. And there's different languages because I also took Russian privately for a while. And it's kind of funny because, like, you don't have to do this in English, but another language is like you're wondering if a word is like masculine or feminine or neutral because it's not something that I normally have to do. So if a word pops up and like on a test and you're like, okay, I don't know, I guess it sounds feminine or something. And then when I was in high school, I took Japanese for 2 years because there was only 2 years those for the electives. And then the next 2 years after that, I went back to Spanish. And then I know my brother, he took 4 years of French because that was there at the time, and he was able to get into honors French. So I would say if I were to take another language course too in school with what was given, I think Latin would have been helpful for my degree because like, I had to take healthcare terminology and do the word parts and um, see what the root words are. And it's just, it would have been beneficial for that. I would say that it's always nice to be able to, I guess, read and speak something phonetically. I know that's not a given for, at least when we learn English, there's always the exception of something. And the classes, like French class, I don't know how it is like if you were to take French in Europe. So, like, it's nice. Like, Ukrainian is phonetic, which is convenient, and um, I like seeing things that are really different and being able to learn about them. Um, because I would say that, like, if you were to, I know that, like, the east side of Philly it has, like, a high Ukrainian population, and it would be spoken differently in that area or in America compared to if you were to speak it in Ukraine. So there's like a sense of learning here. And it's like a sense of things that are completely different than your own. Sometimes I think it's like an experience. Like if you read a book and you go on an adventure, it's not you going on an adventure, but the book is explaining things and telling you all the things and maybe a person of how they live to tell the tale of doing these things that just it didn't happen to you, but it almost feels realistic in a way for you to experience it. Sometimes it kind of feels like there's a goal here. And we have the Ten of Wands. This has the ocarinas on here. It really feels like there's tools that kind of come into play with this to make you stronger to become the person that you need to be. Because you have the peacock represented in this card with the feather. And the Six of Cups with the Star card, it kind of reminds me of like dreams and depths and like whale energy. Whale energy. I used to get this vision a lot. Specifically when I was dreaming, I was in the water and I'd turn around, there's this giant eye, and it would be a whale. I am not a water person, so it didn't make it better. It's just a different environment. Not the whale itself, at least the one that I was seeing. There's like underlying things that are resurfacing from the Six of Cups. And I feel like life tries to prepare you for it. Even when it seems like things are so slow. It reminds me of knitting too. I finished the main part of the test knit that I was working on. I'm still working on it. And now I am just doing the plain knitting. Technically, you can extend the pattern into the body, but it's like the inspiration is using for the designer was to use scrap yarn, and with the amount of scrap yarn that I had for all the colors, I only had some scrap yarn here for this color or that color, so I couldn't carry it throughout. And I feel like the test knit in a way stops there because um, you could kind of just do whatever you want to do after separating for the sleeves. I'm just talking about making the sweater. And I feel like she definitely knows that people will end up customizing, and I definitely customize mine in different ways. Um, it is how you make it and what you do. It's not about, what they say, it's not about how many times you get like knocked down, it's how many times you get back up. Ooh, I feel like I'll leave it there, maybe. I always like try to pull one more card. Okay, me think I'm gonna pull one more card. Well, I guess I could. Pull three. Okay, I'll stop. Because I didn't want to end it on the Hanged Man. So I'll end it on the Page of Coins. With the Eight of Coins, because there's the Hanged Man and the Queen of Wands from the Glory to Ukraine Tarot. The red stands out to me. Heavy red colors, and even in the Ten of Wands too. I would say for knitting, like a burnt orange or red has been like a popular color for different types of projects. Um, with garments, with accessories, with different types of, you can make like knitted toys too. That's random. But I feel like seeing the Hanged Man like this, it's like a wake up call for the Queen of Wands to take action and just doing what she needs to do. She needs to get out of the Hanged Man mode. I know it kind of flip flops, but there's Hanged Man um in the Miss Tarot of Mystical Moments. So with the pages, it's always exciting because they're kind of just starting off. Um, and then you have the Eight of Coins, the Eight of Pentacles, keeping that flame going. There's just such an emphasis, and even for me, about even like when I'm in the lab and I see this sign, don't take, don't it's something about like not unplugging the refrigerator, expensive vaccines or vaccines in storage. It's something to say to keep something consistent and to keep going. And I think that'll be the messages here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video.